I am 73 years old. I sit in this chair by the window most of the day now, and I look at my hands. They are thin, the skin like parchment paper, and they shake just enough to make a cup of coffee feel like a dangerous undertaking. It is a quiet house. A beautiful house, I suppose. The floors are white oak, the countertops are a heavy, polished marble that cost more than my father's first home. Everything in this room represents a victory. Everything here is proof that I won, but I am sitting here and I am realizing that I spent my life trading my body and my time for a pile of things I am now too broken to use. When I was 30, I thought I was invincible. I think we all do. I had this engine inside of me that wouldn't stop. I was a builder. I worked in commercial real estate and then I moved into private equity. I wasn't just working for a paycheck, I was working for a score. I wanted to see how high I could make the number go. I told myself it was for the family. That's the lie we all tell ourselves because it makes the greed look like a virtue. I told my wife, Elena, that we were sacrificing now so we could live later. Later. It's a dangerous word. It's a ghost word. I remember my 42nd birthday. I didn't actually have a birthday that year. I spent it in a hotel room in Chicago, eating a club sandwich and looking at spreadsheets until 3 in the morning. My son, Leo, had called me earlier that day. He wanted to tell me about a goal he scored in soccer. I told him I'd watch the video later. I told him I'd be home for the weekend and we'd go to the park. I didn't make it home that weekend. A deal was closing. There was always a deal closing. I remember the feeling of the coffee in my veins back then. I lived on caffeine and adrenaline and 5 hours of sleep. My back would ache, a dull throb at the base of my spine, but I'd just swallow some aspirin and keep moving. I treated my body like a tool, a hammer that I could just keep swinging. I didn't think about the joints or the heart or the lungs. I thought they were permanent. I remember Elena used to ask me to go for walks with her, just around the block. She'd say, "Arthur, the sun is hitting the trees just right." And I'd look at my watch. I'd think about the emails piling up, the calls I had to return to London, the people who were waiting for me to make them richer. I'd tell her I was too tired. I was exhausted, truly. I'd come home and collapse, my mind still racing, my body feeling like a live wire. I thought that exhaustion was a badge of honor. I thought it meant I was doing it right. I did that for 35 years. I climbed the mountain. I reached the top. By the time I was 60, I had the fortune. We had the vacation home in the mountains. We had the cars. We had the respect of people who don't actually care if I live or die. And then the bill came due. It didn't come all at once. It came in pieces. It started with my knees. Then my back gave out for good. I remember the doctor looking at the scans, telling me about the degeneration. He asked me what I had done for a living. I told him I sat in chairs and airplanes and boardrooms. He told me my body had stiffened into the shape of my ambition. Then came the heart, a minor stroke at 65. Just enough to steal the steadiness from my right side. Just enough to make the world feel a little bit blurry around the edges. I remember the day I retired. I stood in my office, looking at the plaque they gave me. I walked out to my car, and I realized I didn't know where to go. I had the money to go anywhere in the world. I could have flown to the Alps. I could have walked the beaches in Italy. I had the means, but I didn't have the legs. I went home to that big, beautiful house with the marble countertops. Elena was there. She was kind. She always has been, but there was a distance between us. You can't ignore someone for 30 years and expect the intimacy to wait for you in a box. We were like two strangers sharing a very expensive museum. I tried to travel. We booked a cruise through the Mediterranean. It was everything I told her we would do later. But I spent the whole trip in a wheelchair or sitting on the deck because my heart couldn't handle the heat and my back couldn't handle the walking. I watched the other people, younger people, poorer people, climbing the stairs of the ancient ruins. I watched them laughing, sweating, breathing deeply. I sat there with my bank balance and my cane, and I felt like a ghost. I had the money to buy the finest wine in the world, but the doctors had me on so many medications that I couldn't drink a drop. I had the money to stay in the best suites, but I spent my nights staring at the ceiling, wondering when my breath would get shallow again. I spent my health to get my wealth, and now I would give every cent of that wealth to have one afternoon where I could walk through the woods without pain. I would give it all to be 30 again, broke, and able to lift my son onto my shoulders without my spine screaming. Leo is grown now. He has his own children. He's a good man, but he's busy. He's doing exactly what I did. He's chasing it. He calls me on Sundays, and I can hear the tightness in his voice. I can hear the mental list he's making while he's talking to me. I want to tell him to stop. I want to tell him that the house he's working for will eventually become his prison, but I know he won't listen. I didn't listen to my father either. It's a strange thing. Realize you've been a fool so late in the game. People talk about legacy. They talk about leaving something behind. I look at my bank statements and I realize that my legacy is just a series of numbers that will be divided up by lawyers and heirs who didn't see the sweat that went into them. The things I thought were so important, the mergers, the acquisitions, the wins, they don't exist anymore. They were just puffs of smoke. What remains is the fact that I miss the birthdays. I miss the quiet Tuesday nights. I miss the feeling of being young and healthy because I was too busy trying to ensure I'd be comfortable when I was old. Well, I am old now, and I am comfortable. The chair I'm sitting in is top of the line. The climate control in this house is perfect. I have the best medical care money can buy, but I am lonely, and I am tired in a way that sleep doesn't fix. I look out the window and I see a young man working on the landscaping across the street. He's sweating. His shirt is stuck to his back. He probably worries about his rent. He probably thinks that if he just had a fraction of what I have, his problems would disappear. And he's right, in a way. Poverty is a weight, but he'll go home tonight and his body will feel the good kind of tired. He'll play with his kids. He'll sleep deeply. He has the one thing I can't buy back, no matter how many zeros I add to a check. He has his time. He has his breath. If you are listening to this and you are still in the middle of the race, I want you to do something. I want you to look at your hands. I want you to feel the air going into your lungs. I want you to realize that your health isn't a resource to be mined until it's gone. It's the only thing you actually own. Don't wait till you're 73 to live your life. Don't assume there will be a later. The later you are dreaming of might be spent in a quiet house, looking at a beautiful marble countertop, wishing you had just gone for that walk when your wife asked you 30 years ago. The fortune isn't the money. The fortune is the ability to use your legs while they still work. It's the ability to see the world while your eyes are still clear. I'm going to sit here for a while longer. The sun is starting to go down. It's a beautiful sunset, I think. I wish I had someone to tell that to. Elena is in the other room, resting. We don't talk much anymore. There isn't much left to say that wasn't said or ignored decades ago. Take care of yourselves, not your bank accounts, not your reputations, just yourselves and the people who actually know your name. Because when you get to where I am, the rest of it, it doesn't mean a thing. It's just cold stone and empty rooms. I think I'll try to get up now. It'll take me a minute. It always does. If this story stayed with you, I'm glad. Maybe just sit with it for a second. Think about where you're putting your energy today. That's all. I hope you have more time than I do. I truly do.